This week is going to be very important for XRP and the entire crypto market. Liberation Day tariff levels are something that we could see again for a variety of countries, with the US doing these recent moves on tariffs. And a deadline's coming up you got to be aware of. A Blackrock XRP ETF is being discussed again. Is this something coming sooner rather than later? Well, some experts do believe so. I believe personally that this could be something we see rather quickly. And there's a little bit of evidence to back that up. Let's talk about some of these things and some key levels for XRP. Are we more likely to go to $5 or back down to 50 cents here in 2025? And let me be clear, I think we go a lot higher for XRP into the future. But right now, what are we looking at with all this news tied together? Obviously, an ETF is very bullish, but some tariffs are a little bit scary. So what are the technical levels? Let's discuss it, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, but certainly love crypto. I like XRP a lot, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about it. Now, tap the like button if you agree that you're impressed to see XRP trending number one today, up 2.5%. You got Bonk popping off right now because they've got some developments in their meme coin ecosystem. But of course, XRP is not a meme coin. No, it is the fourth largest cryptocurrency by market cap. And it seems like these days, everybody's bullish on it. And for very good reason. It's at $133 billion market cap. It's been absolutely amazing at the end of 2024 and holding strong above $2 here in 2025 so far. And we'll talk about some technical levels in a minute, but let's get into this very important story first. Blackrock XRP ETF coming. Benzinga, this publication, is talking about this very question. Expert says the SEC case resolution clears way. And absolutely, I would say. When you look at what's going on right now with Ripple versus the SEC, it does look increasingly so like this, decade long, it feels like decade long, this multi-year lawsuit that Ripple is going through with the SEC is going to be coming to an end. Now, the problem is obviously with the judge still having some potential issues, not knowing whether Ripple is going to continue to act in a way that they didn't previously, like when the old SEC was head by Gary Gensler, had some complaints about Ripple, saying that they were selling unregistered securities. Well, at this point, what we do know is that XRP is officially not a security, and that has been deemed by the SEC, but still this case isn't ending. Now, recently the cross appeals were dropped by Ripple, and I do think this will be coming to an end. And so what we've got going right now is interesting news. BlackRock could change its position on not pursuing a cryptocurrency exchange-traded fund outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum if the Securities and Exchange Commission against Ripple is concluded. And so what this story is talking about is this. Right now, there is not a formal plan for an XRP ETF from BlackRock. Okay, that's officially not on their menu publicly. Now, people have been rumoring behind closed doors, all these things. I'm sure they've talked about it. But so long as this SEC case is going on, really, in my opinion, what it presents is buying opportunities still. Now, if we dip back down to 50 cents, those are amazing buying opportunities. But if we shoot back up to $5, if you shoot up to new highs, then, you're going to be thinking, wow, well, you're probably at that point, you're probably going to have seen the SEC case against Ripple come to a close. At that point, I would expect that would be the story that would boost it up. Now, some people say that it's priced in. I think that it's partially priced in, but I do think that there is still a lot more upside because when you do think about it, if this SEC case is closed out with Ripple, then BlackRock could change its position on not pursuing and on not pursuing an XRP ETF, and they could start pursuing an XRP ETF. So, talking about the case, Brad Garlinghouse says Ripple's dropping the cross appeal. This is news that we know. We're waiting for this to end. At some point, it will end. It's looking like it's going to end in 2025, but we do need Judge Torres to get it together and actually put an end to this case. At this point, it seems like the SEC wants it over with, and so does Ripple, obviously, so that the coin can start to perform beautifully again. And then folks like BlackRock can start to actually move forward and consider and launch potentially an XRP ETF. Now, Scott Bessent says the tariffs are about to boomerang to Liberation Day. Well, they could boomerang to Liberation Day levels if the countries continue to fail these negotiation deals. We have a trade deadline nearing up, okay? And there's been a 90-day tariff pause. It comes to an end on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday. The 90-day tariff pause comes to an end. And if the countries that are negotiating with the U.S. don't get it together and come up with a, closed out negotiation that, frankly, the presidential administration currently in power in the U.S. today is, okay with, well, then they could get some really big tariffs. And what could happen with that is potentially a slip in the markets. If tariffs come back, it could slip the traditional market back down. It could slip the crypto market back down. That, again, presents buying opportunities. I do believe at some point this tariff conversation is going to be behind us. This is negotiation tactics, it seems, from the current president. In my opinion, putting out deadlines, putting out punishments if they don't negotiate in those deadlines, and then coming back to the table to negotiate further after, basically, giving them their penalties, right? Which is what these tariffs are. And so for XRP and for other altcoins, if you see Liberation Day level tariffs, you might see a little bit more of a buying opportunity in this market. And so let's talk a little bit about some of the levels. And if you guys want to trade, by the way, there are affiliate links for you guys to sign up in the description down below. Blowfin has right now a trading competition going on, and there's a sign up link in the description down below for that and other exchanges. If you guys want to trade, please do your own research, guys. Know that this is an affiliate. This is one way that you can support the channel if you guys are looking for places to trade. This is one place that me and Blacksea personally like to do our trading. In the news right now, you've got a lot of conversation about this trade deals, maybe a longer deadline. They might extend the deadline. So we do not know exactly what's going to happen. But right now, the stock market's doing tremendously. Bitcoin's been doing pretty darn well. And XRP is kind of at the top of a range I've been looking at. So I talked about earlier in this video, 50 cents or $5. Well, just kind of looking at this kind of wedge that I've got drawn out here, you could potentially see, just kind of looking at, vaguely, just very vaguely, where the mouth of this wedge is, a breakout to the upside. Yeah, you could be coming to $5. Heck, you might even come to $6. Something up in there. If we break down to the downside, yeah, you could be coming back down to 70 cents, maybe back down to these key levels at 50 cents. It's possible. It's not out of the question. I don't want to see it. I'm not telling you XRP is going down to 50 cents, and I'm not telling you XRP is going to $6 or $5. I don't know exactly what comes next in the future. But what I do know is there's a lot of bullish news about XRP. There's a lot of countries that are paying attention to crypto in general right now. There's a lot of banks that like XRP. There's a lot going on with the XRP ledger and the stable coin that Ripple came out with. And I think those are bullish things. And if this lawsuit ends, that would lean me to obviously the more bullish side. And just aside from that, I look at Bitcoin getting closer and closer to a new all-time high. We've taken a new all-time high earlier this year. Fed rate cuts are coming. I think we're going to get a breakout. In my opinion, I think Bitcoin dominance is due to top out. When you see Bitcoin start to rally and Bitcoin dominance top out, I think you get the move to the upside for XRP. So to the downside, yeah, maybe we could come down to this 50 cent, 70 cent level. Again, I don't want to see it. If that happens, you're going to see Bitcoin fall a lot lower. The only thing that could make that happen in my mind personally is the tariffs that could cause a slip for Bitcoin, cause the rest of the market to slip. But to the true downside I'm looking at right now for XRP is the bottom of this range. We could easily see it come back down to basically $2. Maybe get a wick a little bit lower, but I would expect the wick could touch down to $2. There's a lot of potential for trading, looking at support, looking at resistance. You have to pick your own levels. You have to do your own due diligence. I'm quite bullish on XRP. I think this breaks out to the upside instead of the downside, but right now my immediate level to the downside is about $2. If we can break out above the $2.30 level, which has been a very difficult level, $2.32, $2.30, if we can break out to the upside of that, we could easily start moving back up to $2.60, maybe $3, and even attempting a new all-time high for XRP. That would probably coincide with a Bitcoin pump, which is very possible right now, in my opinion, because we have Fed rate cuts coming. That's good for risk on assets like Bitcoin, altcoins, and that includes XRP. That's my update for you guys today. Smash the like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more crypto content. Continue to do your own due diligence. Please note I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but we love crypto. We love crypto content. And we're going to keep it coming with crypto news updates every day. 2 other videos here if you want to check them out. Until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace, guys.